Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing great. This is Sudhanshu from Postcard Prep, and I have Snehashish, who's also a student at Postcard Prep, and we are here to answer some of the frequently asked questions, some of the questions that many of you would be facing troubles with. And Snehashish, let's try and help out everybody here. So, Snehashish, you can start firing.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Sudhanshu. Hi, everyone. So, Sudhanshu, my first question would be, if the panel asks me, why should we select you over someone else, or why should we select you? So, how should I handle that question?
Okay, so there are two types of questions in this category. Okay, why should we select you, and why should we reject you? Okay, the first part that you mentioned is why should we select you over others? Okay, which is typically the same question as why should we select you, because even if they mention others, we don't have to get into a comparison mode. That I am better in this, I'm better in that, because no matter how good we are at something, there'll always be someone who's better than us, right? So therefore we don't have to get into a comparison mode. We have to talk about our strengths. Okay, so why should we select you? Primarily, you have to talk about some of your strengths. So don't say that I am going to talk about my strengths, because somebody told me it's the same question. You are just asking it in a different manner. So present your answer that I believe that I should be selected because of this reason. So I believe that resilience is one important strength. Okay, that I have developed over a period. Give illustration. Okay, so mention an example as to why do you believe that resilience is something that you is part of your character. Adaptability. I have studied across six different schools during my formative years because my father had a transferable job, and all through I have managed to perform brilliantly as far as academics and non-academics like extracurricular etc. is also concerned, right? So so that is how I present it to them that I am adaptable, right? So a strength and then an example to illustrate that. Also
Got it.
mention as to how this strength is going to be important. For example, you can say that in the B school, there are a lot of things that are going on at the same time. For example, let's say you say that multitasking is your key strength, right? So then
Okay.
then you give an illustration as to why you believe multitasking is your key strength, and then relate it with the B school. So in B school, you're certainly going to have to do a lot of multitasking, right? There are so many things happening. Academics is going on, then there are cultural clubs, committees who are doing events. There are a lot of things going on at the same time, and you have to manage
Yes.
everything. You have to manage your health also at the same time, right? Let's say you believe that your strength is that you are someone who's a fitness enthusiast. How is that going to help? That's again going to help because you are going to take care of your physical and mental health while contributing and learning at the B school, right? So this is how you can position
Yes.
that I should be selected, because the idea is to present yourself as a good fit for the program rather than comparing yourself with others. Okay.
Got it. Yes.
Perfect. And similarly, why should we reject you also? You can say that, that these are a couple of reasons, which is basically again similar to, weaknesses question that we have already done. But
Yes.
don't mention weakness alone. Mention it in a structure that this is the reason, this is something which I believe. Maybe I'm overcritical, but I'm working on it. Okay. This is what I
Okay.
have done it, in the last 6 to 8 months to overcome it, and this is how finally I'm doing. So I'm monitoring the change. I've also got feedbacks from my mentors, my the people around me, that I am definitely improving on this parameter, right? So always present the weaknesses also in a structure. Remember, weaknesses should be weaknesses, should not disguise strength as weaknesses. Okay, so that is something which is very, very important.
Yes. And like you said, I should also mention that how I'm working on them to improve myself as a
Perfect.
person.
Yeah. So the structure is weakness. Then you talk about what are you doing about it, and finally talk about are you able to track improvements or not? Are you able to see the improvements or not? Right. So this is the structure that you should follow.
Understood. Yeah. So, on the similar lines, I have another question that is, if the panel asks me, what value can you add to the class, or what value can you bring on the table? Then, what are the values that I should be seeing
Okay.
over
So
there?
how can you add value to the class? Now, I think Snehashish, this is something which is personal to everybody. Okay. For
Okay.
example, let's say somebody who's a finance enthusiast, somebody who is, let's say, a CA, can say that, I have an acumen, which I have developed already. I have an inclination towards finance. I have a very limited understanding, although, I'm trying to build it, even further. But whatever limited, knowledge I have, I can use that to spark interest in the minds of my peers at the B school, right? I can use my current
Got it.
understanding to, motivate them that, even if they don't have to do finance or financial management, they'll still need to do their personal financial management, and therefore it's important for them to
Um,
understand, finance to that extent, right? So I believe that
yeah.
this is something that I can contribute with. Somebody can say that, I have a problem solving attitude, okay, and hence I believe that I can participate in the business case competitions, and I can bring glory to my college. I'm also a good team player, which is required in, building teams and performing well in these case competitions. So we've seen some of the
Yeah.
case competitions. If people who don't know what are case competitions, you can go on the YouTube and search. You can search Lime. Lime is a contest which is B school contest which is done by Hindustan Unilever, or you can also search ITC Interrobank. So these are some of the B school competitions. Search about them, know a little about them. What are these competitions about? And you can mention these examples also, which will be really impressive. To point out that you have done your research before coming into the panel.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
Sure.
So now the another question that I think I'll be facing would be, why would you choose this college over XYZ college?
Okay.
So yeah.
Got it. So again, a very interesting question. You generally do get this question. Okay. Only IIM Ahmedabad will not ask you this question, and I know
Yeah.
you, and I hope you know why IIM Ahmedabad will not ask you this question.
Yeah.
So everybody else is, I'll not say insecure, but wants to know, primarily whether you know something about the college or not, or you can answer this question or not. Let's say, between two colleges, okay, sometimes the selection is very obvious, right? So let's say if I have to select between IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Indore, right? The selection is quite obvious, right? But still, what I would do is
Obviously.
I would try to say that, IIM Indore is known for something. Okay, let's say IIM Indore's motto is this, right? Or IIM Indore's vision is
Hmm.
this, or IIM Indore's mission is this, or the values of IIM Indore. I feel I have an alignment, right? One could
Yes.
say that Indore is my hometown, and probably it will be good if I can take care of my family also. Sometimes, when I have to go to see them. So I think this is again a very contextual question, a question which is very
Okay.
personal. I think something, why should you select this college? I think one thing that you should do is a website research. That is something which will
Okay.
give you pointers to associate with that college, right? uh,
Yeah.
they also know that you are being diplomatic, but being diplomatic is not incorrect. Okay, it's not, there is nothing incorrect in being diplomatic, but don't be diplomatic just for the sake of it. Do your research and
Hmm.
develop your logic along that line, right? For example, if I have to say, let's say, why would I go for, let's say, IIM Lucknow, or let's say why would I go for, let's say, an XLRI. So let's say an XLRI has a very huge alumni base, has an amazing legacy. Okay, if you see, the top HR executives in the country are from XLRI, right? So a huge alumni base is something that, that is something which goes really really well with XLRI. Similarly, if I have to justify FMS, let's say I'll say that, I get really amazing education, and since I hail from a middle class background, I think I can take care of my economics also, right?
Yeah.
So there are a few things that you'll have to understand about that college to really answer this question. Otherwise, you will not have a logic. So let me help use this forum, Snehashish, to
Sure.
give
Sure.
give you a sense of how to do a website research. Okay,
Okay.
let me
Yeah.
just allow me to share my screen with you. Okay,
Yes.
and please
Definitely.
please let me know if you're able to see this.
Uh, it's not yet visible. I'll let you know.
Okay,
Yes, I'm able to see your screen. Yes.
perfect. So for example, let's say I am at the IIM Lucknow website. Okay, I'll tell as to how should one do the research. We talk about website research, which is important, which one should do, to be able to answer a few questions which are related to that college. So, for
Okay.
example, in this case, if you see, I am at the IIM Lucknow page. What I can see in front of me is, all these tabs. So, what we should understand is what is mission and vision of that B school. For example, in case of IIM Lucknow,
Yes.
there is mission and vision across, and there are some elements related to people, their approach, the values, right? So all of that you should read. Beyond that, what you should also read is history and milestones. Okay, so try to understand, when was the institute created.
Okay.
Okay, what has been the key milestones, what has been some of the key achievements of that institute, right? And so, for example, if you will read here,
Yes.
okay, so it mentions that, so there is a few things, right? So it talks about tehzeeb, I am Lucknow, associating it with Lucknow to some extent, right? Then talking about,
Yes.
if you talk about leadership, you must see who is the director, right? Who's the director? So, for example, Professor Archana Shukla is the director, right? Then you should see, if you talk about who's the dean, right? And you can read a little bit about them. Primarily, for example, Professor Ajay Garg, he teaches finance and he teaches really, really amazingly well. Okay, so if somebody gets to get a session from him, I would really count those people lucky, right? Similarly, Professor Vikas Srivastava also does finance, right? So you can read about these people. International linkages, you can see what are the partner institutions. Student exchange, you can read about, right? See,
Yes.
primarily
Yes.
every college provides student exchange, okay, but what is different is something that you will realize when you go a little deeper. So what are the associations that a college has as far as student exchange is concerned, right? Similarly, you can talk about, let's say, the campus. Read a little bit about it. It's a very enjoyable journey. So
Okay.
don't make it
Yeah.
completely mechanical. Enjoy yourself while you
Mm-hmm.
do this, right? So you can talk about PGP in management, in agribusiness, etc. About Lucknow also, which is the city that you are going to go. You can read about that also. Beyond that, what you should also see is, let's say, for example, if you go to about I am Lucknow, you'll find all of these aspects here also. Then you can see faculty and research. You can see who are the key faculties there. Okay, just a second. So, for example, faculty directory. Okay, you can see, seminar series. There are conferences, research projects. A lot of people ask questions like, what research projects is IIM Lucknow doing, right? Or what research project any particular college is doing. So, for example, if you go through these, if you have the information, you can ask them that, IIM Lucknow is doing a project like this. Okay, my interest aligns in such
Yes.
projects. So that can also give you a reason to justify that why would you want to get into a B school like that, right? So you should you
Got
know
it.
you should so that is how I will see. I generally go about, going through, see, placements and career, all of that is very, very good. That is something which everybody is aware of, right? Everybody knows, what the average package for, top B schools is like. But
Yeah.
this, see the other aspects also. Don't just think about placements, think about what the college has to offer. Okay, so you can find out. So do a very thorough research of, you can see, for example, who are the recruiters. Okay, you can see the recruiting partners, right? So check out, for example, a lot of people, a
Yes.
lot of time they ask you, what is your dream company? Okay, so if you have done your research, then you can say that,
Okay.
yes, I have done this research. So this is my, a dream company, and I'm also aware that this company visits I'm Lucknow, right? That could give you another reason to
Uh,
join a B school, right? So there are multiple reasons that you can create
yes.
if you go through the website properly, make your notes, and do it absolutely thoroughly. I think another thing that you should, that you must do is, whenever you are doing some research, for example, if I write I am Lucknow motto, right? So that is also something that you must see. For example, what is the motto of I am Lucknow? So motto of a B school, what is the motto? Sometimes they
Yes.
ask you, what is the motto of the B school? Okay, so Suprabandhe
Okay.
Rashtra Samriddhi is, is the motto for IIM Lucknow. suprabandhe rashtra samriddhi. Okay, so better management towards better nation. Similarly, find out for other B schools also,
Hmm.
right? So this is how one should very thoroughly invest
Understood.
at least 2.5 3 hours, going through the research, going through the website, digging into details, making notes, and making sure that you know some of these things that you can associate with. Otherwise you will not be able to answer these questions with a lot of confidence.
Got it. Got it.
What else, Ashish?
Yeah. So the next question that I'm having trouble with is, I personally hail from an IT background.
Okay,
Now, post my MBA, I want to pursue management consulting. So the question that might come is, why would you switch from an IT background towards consulting, or suppose finance or something else? How do I tackle that question?
perfect. So, Snehashish, we've been doing a lot of these domain sessions. Okay. And the
Yes.
idea of these sessions is also to give you a sense of what is going to happen in the future. For example, let's say if we talk about consulting. Okay. So, what do consultants typically do? So consultants typically solve business problems, right? So let's say if
Okay.
I'm facing some issue, my revenue is declining, I have to enter a market, right? In all those scenarios, what will I do? If I have resources, and I can afford, then I'll get a consultant on board who will do a thorough
Okay.
analysis of what should be my game plan, let's say, and will give me suggestions. So basically they are solving business problems. Okay, so from where you have to go, right, and to where you are going,
Okay.
you need to understand both the aspects, and you need to
Yes.
understand what is matching between the two. For example, let's say at IT, I really like solving problems.
Yes.
Okay, I'm also interested in the
Okay.
business aspects. Now, how do I combine the
Okay.
two?
Yeah.
How do I combine the two? If I have to combine the two, a possibility for me, if I have to understand business, if I have to understand management, and if I have to solve problems also for people, for customers, for clients, consulting is a job that I would want to do. Also consulting, why would you want to do consulting? Let's say that I really like traveling. Okay, and I know that as part of consulting I'll have to travel, right? So some, I believe that traveling gives you wisdom, right?
Okay.
Books and travel are really easy sources of wisdom, right?
Yeah.
So if let's say you don't like reading books, for example, I don't like reading books at all. Okay, I read a very
Okay.
few books. Okay, when I have to.
Okay.
So in that case, what will I do, Snehashish? I really like traveling. So then I've understood some key elements of the job that I'm, or the role that I'm getting in, and I have
Hmm.
connected that
Okay.
with what I have already. So at IT, I was a problem solver. I was solving problems. I was intrigued, into the business
Okay.
domain. Okay. uh, I am a traveler, which is an inherent quality or inherent hobby or a trait that I have. I've connected what all I have with what all I want to get, and therefore there is a perfect match between my personality and the job that I'm seeking,
Ah,
and the bridge is MB,
got it. Yeah.
right? What else, Ashish?
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. So one final question that I'm having is, suppose the panel asks me that you seem so inclined towards doing an MBA. So what challenges do you think do you think you'll face once you join the B school? What are the challenges that might come up, and how do you plan on handling them?
Perfect. So I think there are two things. Okay, one is something that everybody is going to face. Again, the structure is very important, Snehashish. Okay, whenever you are answering
Okay.
questions in the interview, they'll see what kind of structure that you will take. In this question, the structure that I can give you is there can be two types of problems. One, the problem that is inherent with me. Those are
Okay.
my weaknesses. I'm still working on them, and I might face a little trouble with that. Okay, that is point number one,
Okay.
right? For example, let's say somebody says that I do procrastinate. Okay, I've been working on it, but I'm
Hmm.
yet to be absolutely perfect there. Okay, so I might face some difficulties
Okay.
there because I know that as part of MBA I'll have to do a lot of things at the same time, and I can't procrastinate, right? So I really
Yes.
have to be have to be making sure that I don't procrastinate there, right? So a
Yes.
problem which is inherent to me can cause a problem there.
Okay.
And second thing is a problem that everybody is going to face there, right? So when you go there, you'll realize that you really have to manage time.
Yeah.
Okay, because you want
Yes.
to you want to do well in academics, and you want to do well in the other aspects also. You want to get into extracurriculars also. For example,
Ex-
let's say you're into sports, you want to do sports. If you're into music, you want to get into a get into the music club. You like organizing events, you want to get into the event club. If you really believe that you can take the responsibility of helping your peers, or your senior juniors get placed, you can get into the placement committee. So basically, if you become part of these clubs and committees, you'll have to dedicate a certain amount of time to these bodies, right? Which basically may impact your academics. Now, how do you strike a balance? That is something which which is something that you will have to spend some time with, and you'll have to understand. So you can say that I believe that time management is going to be a challenge, but I believe that I've been doing it. I believe, again, don't leave it at that. Mention
yeah.
that I believe that I have done it wherever required. You can state an instance where in one of the projects you were very busy, you're very occupied, but you managed to give time to your family also, or time to your hobbies also, your time to your passion also, right? So for example,
Yes.
so that is how you can answer such a question.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
What else, Snehashish?
As of now, these are the main questions that I had.
Perfect. I'll add one more question. One
Yes.
more question can be, let's say, towards the end, they'll ask you, do you have a question for us? Okay. Don't
Okay.
leave that element blank. Okay. It's a
Ah,
very good
yes.
opportunity to impress the panel. Also, don't ask generic questions. For example,
Okay.
what are the research projects that IIM Lucknow is into? It's there on
Ah,
the website. Okay.
the website.
So if you ask them that question, they will certainly know that this guy has done no research.
No research.
So then you can mention that IIM Lucknow is into a lot of live projects. I have read on the research on the website that they are doing such and such project. So as a student, do we get an opportunity to participate, or do we get an opportunity to learn from such esteemed professors who are themselves engaged in such important projects? Okay, थोड़ी सी तारीफ भी हो गई, ठीक है,
Ah,
थोड़ा
yes.
सा
Yes.
रिसर्च भी शोकेस कर दिया, ठीक है।
बिल्कुल.
वो इंसान कितना भी बड़ा हो, थोड़ी सी तारीफ तो अच्छा लगता ही है ना? तो
Absolutely.
थोड़ा सा तो मजा आता ही है थोड़ी तारीफ सुन के। तो आपने आपने अपना रिसर्च भी शोकेस किया, थोड़ी सी आपने तारीफ भी कर दी, ठीक है। प्योर फ्लैटरी इज समथिंग विच आई डोंट एनकरेज,
Mhm.
ठीक है। बट फ्लैटरी इज समथिंग दैट यू विल हैव टू डू। यू मेंशन दैट यू वांट टू गेट इनटू कंसल्टिंग, सो थोड़ा सा तो करना पड़ेगा दोस्त।
Yeah. बिल्कुल.
So I think we with that, I hope I have answered all your questions, Neashish. I hope this video is going to help everybody who is listening to this. Stay tuned, keep practicing, and God bless you all. Take care. Bye bye.